So, my name is Josh. I'm a co-chair of the Williams Grove Railroad area, the train. The other co-chair would be Bill Medlin. He's actually sitting up front here. After today, it was definitely a long day, so we're going to try and make this a little quicker than earlier. So, as everybody knows, today is 643's birthday bash. She turns 125 years old today. That's a big milestone, especially when it comes to Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives. I'm going to go through these slides here, read a couple of things. So a little history on the Pennsylvania Railroad. Pennsylvania Railroad originally was based up towards Altoona, Pennsylvania, and they went through and, had tunnels that were across the state and all that in 1834, and they kind of wanted to try and, change the way that the main line, the public works and stuff, how it worked together. So they wanted to build a railroad. And that's what they did. With the Pennsylvania Railroad, I'm going to read this right off the slide because this is a lot of information that'll help you understand it. Pennsylvania Railroad was a company that was proposed to build one line between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh, while the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad planned to build between Pittsburgh and Cumberland, Maryland. So the Pennsylvania Railroad needed to raise enough capital in order to contract to build enough of the railroad within 1 year, falling short of the means of voiding their application and allowing the B&O to build into the Pennsylvania. So that was a big thing, so they wanted to push forward. Another thing about it is there was a vast network. I'm going to combine a couple of the slides here, but there was a vast network of buildings and property that all had to come together in order to make this work. So throughout the years, there was multiple different shops, as well as workshops for cars, locomotives, boiler shops, foundries, and everything. So with that being said, the PRR operated over 26,000 miles of track. That's a lot of area to cover. And when you go to think about it, it's a big feat. You figure you go from one part of the United States to the other side, and you can add that up a couple times, and you're still not there yet. So they covered a very, very big area. So with that being said, the reason why the Pennsylvania Railroad chose Altoona is it's kind of like the perfect spot right in the middle for what they were looking to do. And since they were connecting the east and the west, it became their industrial hub, and it just kept going. So over the years, they kept moving forward, building more and more and more. And through all the years that they kept going, they ended up building multiple different areas that a lot of other railroads didn't have. They were more of a scientific railroad. They tested, they built, they figured out what was best. They didn't play games like other ones and say, let's just try this. No, they already had what they actually called was a dyno that was like this one engine sitting on. And it would test how much fuel, how much water it would consume, the power output, how it steamed, how it produced steam, speeds that it could do, pulling power that it could do, and sustain that. And they built every single locomotive with that philosophy. Bigger didn't always mean better. Let's go to the science to figure it out. And that's what they did. In order to do that, you can't just have a small area. It's actually a very large area. And one of the next slides, it'll tell you basically about how much area that this little area that they said was their home base covered. And it's pretty astronomical when you think about it compared to a lot of other companies in the world. So 643 was built in 1901 at the Altoona machine shops. They built multiple steam engines between 1866 and 1904 when it actually was renamed the 12th Street Car Shop. In 1928, that is when all the locomotives repairs were transferred. A new locomotive construction then moved to the Juniata section of the complex, which everybody knew as the Juniata shops. But meanwhile, to give you an idea of a couple of the engines that were Altoona-built locomotives, you have 1223, you have an E7, which would have been 7002, or E2A, B, C, being rebuilt in the E7s in 1916, or you have the E-Class like 460. That's just to name a few. These guys turned out so many locomotives, it made the rest of the railroads' heads spin. While everybody else was contracting other places, Pennsylvania just kept chugging along, building all their own stuff. They also contracted some of it out as well. This is just some of the locomotives that I mentioned that were built in Altoona, just to give you an idea. And there's many other ones that I haven't mentioned, but This is where they kind of call home. So to give you the idea of what it was the largest railroad shop complex in the world back then. In the 1920s, it covered 17-mile corridors with over 218 acres of buildings. To give you an idea, our original property that you sit on right now was around 96 acres, and we just added at least another 100 acres, and we're still not to what they had. So that just gives you an idea of the size of this company when they went to tackle everything from the mountain to passengers to freight to everything. So to give you a little history here, 643 rolled out the line in 1901. At that time, she was already an 8-year-old design, so she was already obsolete, basically. They were already looking at bigger classes of a B6 instead of a B4A. So to give you an example of that, PR 1670 down in the museum in Stroudsburg would be a good example of that. It's a lot bigger of a design, different boiler design. And as you can see here, 643 has a radial stay boiler versus the Belpaire that the Pennsy was always known for. It's because H.K. Porter had to replace it back in the 40s. So when 643 became surplus, Central Iron and Steel in Harrisburg bought it, renumbered it number 5. It was basically down over by where Pennsy Supply is, in the PennDOT building, to give you an idea of whereabouts she used to call home before she came here. So that gives you an idea, shows you a little bit of a map. Like I said, you guys can see this a little bit later on. But she moved all over the place, and there was another switcher we ended up finding out about, and it was another little switcher that came from the Pennsylvania Railroad. I believe it was an A5, if I'm correct. A3. So there it is. I knew it was an A class. So those both called it home down there. I'm not sure where the other A class went, but luckily 643 made it here. So there it is. It says in 45 they did the radial stay firebox. So when the steel mill closed, she was moved here. It was, what did we say it was, Bill? September 1st, 1961 was the exact date when she came here. We didn't pinpoint that till after this afternoon of the exact date of when she came here. There's some major events that she's went through. You figured she was running around before the Wright brothers did the airplane. Great Depression, World War II, multiple other things. Right here, we actually have a very vast area. We're right here by the Cumberland Valley Railway, where it used to run. Down here by Turkey Foot, it actually used to run along our line right out here and go back down through the park, through the backside and all that. There's also the Dillsburg Mechanicsburg and the Reading that's owned by Norfolk Southern now. So to give you a little bit of information about the Cumberland Valley Railway, they were kind of a unique piece. You still find their stuff around here, and it was a strategic line that was there for kind of when the Civil War was. So that's why it made it really a big thing. When you still find their stuff, I hope you have your wallet, because if not, it's going to run away if you want it. I promise. So I know everybody was probably here inside this building up here. The reason why I'm bringing this up, there is a model train layout. The one building in this picture is actually a model train layout now. It was their powerhouse for the trolleys. It had transformers in it and everything like that to supply the trolley line when they had it. And it's actually Mechanicsburg. It's the Mechanicsburg Model Railroaders Club. Luckily, they actually brought their modular layout, so if you didn't get to see it today, it'll definitely be open again tomorrow. It's inside. It's kind of cool. It has an amusement park and all that. It's definitely unique. I'm happy to say that they were able to come here. Normally, they go to Fort Hunter, and I think that's about it with that modular layout. These pictures are actually of the layout over there at their little station that they have now. As it kept going along, Cumberland Valley Railway would cease in 1928, and then all the track was removed in the 1980s. So it was fairly quick. All the land that was there was given back to the original owners and that had it, because it was on lease originally. So that line that you see, whoever has the properties now basically owns it. When you lease it, it goes back. That was a part of the way they worded it. Little history about the Williams Grove to give you an idea of why that railroad was kind of a part of us. These pictures are from the Grange Fair that used to be here. It was one of the biggest fairs in the area. The railroad had a big part of that. They brought people here, far and few between, by the thousands and carloads in here. They'd bring equipment in here, do power demonstrations from different traction engine companies. all that stuff would sort of come by rail, or it could possibly come by truck. But the trains were a big thing back then. And that's why we're thankful that we still have a little railroad here, because it has something to do with what we do here. We're just a little operation, but at the same point, obviously it's touched a lot of people's hearts. We've had weddings with train pictures, engagement photos, and it's just known around the world. Again, there's a train actually bringing people in, the station set up. So to give you a little bit more history, as you can see the aerial picture here, how everything's set up versus long ago in the past. Newer versus old, we keep moving forward, and that just shows you, what we're looking at today. So the Williams Grove Railroad, in all reality, everybody that used to be here, the older generation and stuff, they called it home. Even though it wasn't a true 100% railroad, they called it home. And we were formed in 59, and we just keep moving forward. And it's the same area that, like I said, Granger's used to be on, so we try and keep it alive. So 643 is a little bit of history. Is she was bought for scrap value back then in 61. When they found out that she was over there and that they could purchase it, they didn't waste time. And when they were told to get the stuff that they needed to keep going and to keep it or maintain it, best better believe if they could grab a hold of it and carry it, they were walking out of the mill with it. And because of that type of mentality, we still are able to run her today. We still are using some of the parts from back then. So that's a good thing. The future plans with the railroad as we slowly expand. So as everybody knows, we did some pushing the last couple years when we bought the land next door. And we found out it was in preservation. Clean and green's a little different than preservation. You can work with them a little bit. However, preservation, when it is in that, is hard to change it. You got to jump through hoops. And luckily, a lot of our board members, a couple of our close friends that do shows here, like the Alice Chalmers group, a couple of their members helped as well. And we were able to get them to turn over a new page for us to actually build the railroad as a complete loop. So our future plans are to keep moving forward. Give you some history, a little bit more of the pictures here of some of the older generation. I know Ron's down there in the middle. He still comes out here for sometimes. I do believe he's in his 90s now. And every time I see him, it's like I might have known him for forever. His love for this place and that train down there are just something, you gotta be a part of it. You gotta understand it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the passion that these older guys would have had to keep her going. So in 2002, they had to do some work on it. And our group started to work here, tore it apart, tore it down, and they got it ready to lift and ship out to go to a boiler place to have some boiler work done. Well, she came back and they started working on putting her together, and it was very, very quick. There was an old gentleman that made a joke for me. I heard it at another railroad once, and I'm not going to forget it. I don't know how you guys did a rebuild in a matter of 3 years when all these other places are going on 15 to 20. Sometimes money isn't the problem. Raising money to get one done is a big feat today. Money is through the roof. Labor is expensive. However, when you have the guys that have worked on the railroad for so many years, money don't mean nothing to them. If you give them a machine to build a part and you give them the stuff that they need, they'll figure it out. And that's what they did. And believe it or not, 643 is a testament to that, as well as our little locomotive, number 8. If it wasn't for Frank Arndt back in the day, who's the gentleman with the ponytail down here in the bottom, that engine probably wouldn't be running today. He swapped a truck engine and a truck transmission with a 2-speed rear in it and a brownie box in it to go forward and reverse, and away she goes today. So that is a testament of you give them what they need and they build it. There they are putting it back together when she came back. A couple years ago, a couple of us got tired of fixing holes in the front of her smoke box. So we built a whole new smoke box face for her at a machine shop, and we all worked together, figured out the design, re-engineered it, built it, and brought it here to show that even though we're younger, we can still do it. And with the help of, a gentleman on our crew, his dad has a machine shop. We couldn't have done it without him. Not this spring, but last spring. We put new flues in it. We actually had to fix the tender because coal is acidic when it gets wet. We had to repair it. So we put flues in it, repaired the tender, and we were off. So yet again, the younger generation stepped forward with help to accomplish this. And as we keep going and going throughout the years, we keep expanding. This year will be our 3rd Christmas train. And believe it or not, I know there's maybe some younger kids here. Santa Claus is sitting here and he's watching you. You just don't know it yet. I know he's here. So just remember that. So we decorated our locomotive, our cars, our train, everything. Set up lights in the field, set up a Christmas tree on a flagpole with the wood shop down here, and many other things. And we keep expanding every year. So much that we decided we wanted to do Halloween and scare some people. And we did exactly that the first year that we did it. That was a hit. We built our own haunted coal mine, and we had people running out the door to get away from us. It was hilarious and fun. And it's those little things that keep us younger generation involved. We enjoy every second of it. So when I first got on the board and me and Bill sat down and talked, and I talked to our crew members, I said, we need to make a real ticket booth. We need a station to sell souvenirs. We did just that. We tore our museum down, boxed all of our relics up, and we built ourselves a station, which everybody gets to walk through, that has AC, that was donated by a gentleman. That was Bill. A lot of hard work and dedication went into that to make it work. So we jumped on that as soon as we were done with our Christmas trains. We gutted the whole place. And by springtime next year, we opened our gift shop. We've had donations for it. We've had people come forth and give us building material and everything. We couldn't have done it without them. We couldn't have done it without my crew either. We made an ADA ramp so that way you can get in. We put a roof over top of it so that way if you want to go outside and you get away from the rain if it rains or if you're in the shade. It was all a part of just trying to make the place a better place. We are doing our track extension as well, still. We went in the wintertime with help of our president, our vice presidents, and our crew and tore up about 500 feet of track that was given to us. We made it so that way we could keep thinking on how to move forward and how to keep going. And it was definitely a very nice thing because the track was donated to us. The guy said, come get it, but you got to rip it up. It was a cold day that day. It was in January. It snowed in the morning, and we still made it happen. So there's some more pictures from us getting the track. So the gentleman in the skid loader here, that's Dale. He's one of our vice presidents. The Kubota excavator over here, that's actually our president, Jason Toman. Jim Floors over here on the ground trying to dig out this piece of rail from underneath the fence because we were trying to get every inch that we could get to. And I'm pretty sure there was also a point where someone might have went underneath to get the extra last 3 feet just in case so we didn't have to cut it. So our future plans are simple. Let's make a loop. It's going to take us a little bit. It's going to take some money. But most of all, we can't do it without all of you. The donations for the Buy a Tie program that we're doing will make it happen. It's just going to take time. So far we have 400 feet. We just got the approval to go get our stone that was paid for. And we have to go get it. And once that gets here, we are going to level it, ballast it, tamp it, and we're well on our way. Once that's all done, we can then put all the plates on it for everybody that has bought a tie here. You'll have your name on it and everything. That's a track extension. It's out at the very end, and we just keep trying to move forward. The closer and closer we get to the new ground, the more smiles we keep to bringing. And let me tell you what, if I make a Facebook post about the track extension, oh, buddy, does it blow up. It's been a thing for over 60 years that they've wanted to do this. So you can just imagine the support. So there's some more track work, and as you can see, we have our speeder out there because that's about all we can run on it right now until we get all the stone put in and ballasted. Every once in a while, we get a group of us all together, and we take it the whole way to the point where there is no more track, and that's just where we want to be. We want to go farther. We just got to wait. Gives you an idea of where the track is, down here on the bottom corner of the right. And where we're going is towards those stone piles that you see on the other property. It's a slow process, but we'll get there. There's a bigger picture of the land that we bought, as well as our grounds that we have now, to give you an idea of how much we have now. The other future of the railroad is we want to build an enclosed car. We dug a frame out of the weeds, and we plan on building it. We'll take some time, Might need some donations, but we'll get there. I have faith in my group. I have faith in this organization that we will keep moving forward. So I'm going to jump forward a little bit here and say why we're here. Well, today's 643's birthday. She's 125 years old. She spent more than half her age here. She did 16 years on the PRR and 42 years at Central Iron and Steel for 58 years. 2026 is her 65th year of being owned by Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association. That's a big feat. So a special gift for a special locomotive. Just to give you how big of a milestone this truthfully is for us and her, as well as my crew. She is the only currently operational Pennsylvania steam locomotive still running today. She is the longest operating Pennsylvania Railroad steam locomotive. She is the only Altoona Machine Shops locomotive still in operation. She is the longest operating Altoona Machine Shops locomotive in general, as well as she is her only surviving piece of her class. There is no other ones like her. She is the last of her kind. So, a lot of Pennsylvania Railroad freight engines have a circle. Passenger locomotives have a keystone. We think, after all these years of being here and pulling more passengers than freight, that she only deserves to be recognized as a Pennsylvania Railroad passenger locomotive. So, without further ado, we are going to present 643 with her own keystone. We feel it marks this anniversary very specially and what she deserves. Every locomotive, I don't know if everybody's been up there, 1361 is one of them that has a passenger locomotive that they're trying to rebuild. That's been a long time in the making. There's a group here from 39, which is Long Island Railroad. They have another Pennsylvania-style locomotive. It's been a long time in the making for them as well. Everybody wants the title that she holds, but darn, she's held it, and she keeps holding it today. As everybody saw her operating today, she continues to hold her legacy, and she continues moving forward. While everybody else has been down, she has survived. And it has everything to do with everybody here, the crew, as well as Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association, because without all of them, she would not be here. She would have been long gone. So that's the end of my presentation. Other than I'm going to lay one thing on you. Every station has a sign. That's the next thing we're working on. We feel with how many passengers that we have every year, we feel our station should have an Honorable Pennsylvania Railroad sign for the station, and that's what's on the other corner here. It is in the process of being made. The gentleman standing beside me is Andrew. His dad owns a machine shop down in York, and he has helped us in many ways, shapes, and form, as well as he's probably one of my best friends. I can honestly say every time I look at me and him, I think of Bill and Carl, because those two have been here for a long time. And every once in a while, they get on each other's nerves, but they keep plugging forward. And that's what we do here. So I want to thank everybody for being here for this presentation. We're going to carry over onto the next part of our presentation. And there's going to be some updates and stuff. So without further ado, I believe I'm going to turn the microphone over to Jason.
Oh.
It's all yours, brother.
Would you all please rise for the playing of our national anthem?
evening, everyone, and welcome to today's ceremony. Thank you for joining us as we gather to recognize and celebrate tonight. Your presence here today helps make this event more meaningful. For those of you who don't know, my name is J.C. Toman, and I have the privilege of serving as the Assistant Secretary for the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association. I will be your MC this evening, along with Dawn Bowersox, our new membership secretary.
All right. Monroe Township could not be here with us today due to having their own event, but they are kind enough to send us the certificate. On behalf of the Monroe Township, it is my honor and privilege to present WGHSEA with the Monroe Township Proud Certificate. The certificate reads, in honor of the 125th birthday of Steam Locomotive number 643, a symbol of the region's rich industrial and transportation history. May this historic steam locomotive's legacy live on for years to come. Thank you, Monroe Township, for your recognition.
As we gather today to celebrate the 125th birthday of Steam Locomotive number 643, we are also recognizing another historic milestone, America's 250th anniversary. Both anniversaries remind us of the ingenuity, perseverance, and spirit that have shaped our nation and our communities. Just as Locomotive number 643 represents an important chapter in our region's history, America 250 provides an opportunity to reflect on our country's past, celebrate our present, and look forward to our future. I would like to take a moment to also mention the flag in our background with only 45 stars. This flag was flown when 643 was built. At this time, please join me in welcoming WGHSEA member and volunteer Jason Roach as he shares remarks in honor of America 250.
Good evening, everybody. Today, I humbly stand before you to take a moment to pause, reflect, honor, and respect our country as we celebrate America 250. The title of tonight's message is called The Flag. Now, as a teacher in my day job, I can't resist making this interactive. So tonight isn't a history lesson, it's a trivia challenge. I'll ask a few questions, I'll leave some room, and feel free to shout out your response. Also, whenever I hold up the flag, you have a job, all right? When I hold up the flag, I want you to shout out flag. Let's practice. You ready? All right. Everybody understand the assignment today? Great, class. Does anybody know what the anniversary milestone for the 250th is called? Okay, I'm glad we're doing this lesson. We have varied answers. Semi-quincentennial. So if you thought that, you were correct. Now, if you're like me, I had to look it up. It's also called a quarter millennial. So what are we really celebrating here? Well, obviously, we're celebrating 250 years of perseverance, sacrifice, innovation, and freedom. Our nation has faced tremendous challenges. Many of the events that we learned about in history books helped shape the foundation of our nation, such as Revolutionary War, the Civil War, 2 world wars, Valley Forge, the French and Indian War, the Boston Tea Party, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Those are just a few. Iconic phrases such as the shot heard around the world, otherwise known as the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Who can remember only being able to buy gasoline for your vehicle on specific days based on the ending of your license plate, odd or even? I'm not that old, but I knew there'd be a few. Okay, the energy crisis of the 1970s. Now let's fast forward. How about these words? Never forget. 9/11. And most recently, please socially distance yourselves and quarantine if you are infected. Who would imagine that we'd have a pandemic like that? Look, we've been through a lot as a country. We need to respect and honor the lives that have been lost, and let us not forget the price that's been paid for our freedom. Though through every hardship, Americans have continued to move forward. As I reflect, I think about reasons as to why America is quite literally the best damn country in the world to live in. Pardon my French. America is so unique. We have so much to offer. We have so much that the outside world desires. And we all can relate to a unique part of it. It may be different for you than it is for me, and that's okay. We have so many events that have shaped our country, For instance, does anybody know what happened September 5th of 1774? That is when the First Continental Congress was formed. How about these words? That these united colonies are, and of right, ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from the allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain. What are those words from? The Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4th of 1776. The cornerstone of the formal beginning of the United States as an independent nation. But what does every nation need? A flag. The early American flag became a way to represent our country during a time of war, uncertainty, and hope. It offered a visual marker of the challenge that was taking place. Over time, the flag became a part of the country's public language, a sign of its identity, commitment, and direction. How about another? How about this date? March 1st, 1781. The Articles of were established, establishing the first 13 states. Other significant victories, such as the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. When President Lincoln issued the Emancipation during the Civil War, it changed the course of the conflict. What began as a war to preserve the Union took a deeper moral purpose. The promise of freedom expanded the meaning of what the United States could represent. In the years that followed, the American gained new layers of significance. It flew above the Union armies and was carried by soldiers who had once been enslaved, and eventually appeared on newly rebuilt communities. That visual appearance gave shape to a moment of transformation that still echoes in today's conversations about justice and inclusion. The War of 1812. Well, this is where we gained the lyrics to our national anthem, which are completely based on the flag. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. How about these words? 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln on November 19th of 1863. How about this? The ratification of the 19th Amendment expanded the definition of who could take part in civic life. With this change, millions of women gained the right to vote. The shift was not only legal, it was visible. Public marches and gatherings often include banners and carried by women who saw themselves as stewards of the Republic. Let's fast forward a little bit. July 20th, 1969, where we heard these famous words by Neil Armstrong. That's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. When American astronauts landed on the moon in 1969, it marked a moment of technological achievement that captured the world's attention. Years of planning, risk, national investment had to lead to something that once felt impossible. For many, it represented the kind of ambition that had shaped the country from its earliest days. And what did he place on the moon? The flag. Placed it on the surface, not as a claim of ownership, but as a sign of who had been there first. That single image became part of how people remembered the event. It reflected the spirit of discovery and the belief effort that anything we could reach. Of course, no 5-minute speech can quite capture 250 years of American history. There are countless moments, large and small, that mean something different to each of us. But there's one common thread connecting all of those moments. The flag. Not just any flag. Our flag. And your flag. The stars. Every star represents a state in the United States. They are set against a blue background, which stands for justice and perseverance. The stripes. The 13 stripes represents the original 13 colonies that form the country. There are 7 red. There are 6 white. The red stands for valor and bravery, while the white stands for purity and innocence. Each component thoughtfully thought out with intention and meaning. In closing, my challenge to you is simple. When you wear the flag, wear it proudly. When you display the flag, display it respectfully. And when you see the flag, remember what it represents. Not just our history, but our shared responsibility to carry its ideals forward for the next 250 years. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
Our next presentation comes from the Cumberland County. We are honored to welcome a representative from the county who has joined us to recognize this special occasion and celebrate the rich history and heritage that bring us together to get today. Please join me in welcoming Cumberland County Commissioner Eichelberger to the podium.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Gary Eichelberger. I'm pleased to represent the board in being here for this important event. This is a little dangerous. They didn't give me a time limit, and those of you who may have seen me speak before know I can get a little carried away. I will tell you, I didn't prepare anything formal other than we do have a proclamation. I may forego reading it because everything that's in here is historical information that you've heard already today, maybe more than once, and I apologize for being slightly late. So I missed some of that, but I just wanted to add a few personal observations if I could. What you have here is really something marvelous, and I hope you all understand that. I believe you do. The celebration of your presence in the STEAM community, which is an important part of our heritage here, is America as a great industrial power. This is an important lesson for young people, especially. I'm glad to see a few young people here. And it was mentioned earlier about how this was the generation that inherited it, came down from the original folks. And let's bear in mind, we really have to actively work to continue bringing that next generation in. What you have here is a real gem. I will just mention it that I've been coming here. My parents brought me here for the best part of the last 6 decades, and the highlight was always to ride the train. I can still remember going home after that and sitting down to look at the newspaper, running my hands through my hair, and cinders and soot, pelted the newspaper. And of course, Mom was always, you're going to take a bath now. So it's a very vivid memory, but it's a special one. So our STEAM heritage is very important. As I said, I've been coming here for the best part of 6 decades. I can remember my dad taking me down, showing me the sawmill in particular. He worked on a sawmill as a young man, wanted us all to understand that this is how things were, and the dedication toward making that work is what made us what we are today. And that's going to continue as our nation continues. And all of you played a very big role in keeping that alive and making sure that we remember how things are made and how things work mechanically, and that these things are not the only thing that exists for us today. That's an iPad, by the way. But, it's really an honor to be here and to be part of this on behalf of the board. It's a very special place for me. I'm very excited by the idea of the loop. We were here, the commissioners were here, I guess 2 years ago, and took I guess it was 643, we took around the facility, and I was very genuinely excited by that just because of knowing the history here. And frankly, I have to admit, I still have to catch myself and not refer to Labor Day weekend as the Granger's picnic. I don't know when that stopped being a thing, but that's what my parents knew it as, and so that's what I knew it as. And at 65, I'm not really good at changing, my ways right now. So, but we do have someone here as well from our travel agency. So we want to bring more people here. We want people to see this and to learn from this, and to know that Cumberland County is a major place for this, that people such as yourselves, very dedicated to this part of history, want to keep it alive and are working very, very hard. Please make sure I get a mailing about the buy a tie thing. I want to absolutely buy a tie. I'll admit, you're in my will, but I don't want to have to pay out anytime soon. So just send me the envelope and I'll give you a check in the interim. So, but do appreciate everything you do. Let me just take a look at this. It's also a little hard for the old man to see anymore, but steam engine pivotal invention, enhancing industrial productivity and expanding transportation. You know, we are a major transportation area now, always have been. So new innovations increase the efficiency of steam engines, transforming industry during the Industrial Revolution. 643 was built in 1901. There's a history in here of that. I hope you'll display this somewhere as well so folks can see this, because we're really proud to be part of this anniversary for you. And it just reads on with some of the history and mentions that the Board of Commissioners is recognizing and joining with the association in celebrating the 125th anniversary of 643. So as well as the acknowledging the 250th birthday of our country. Those things are very closely tied together. So, and it's signed by all three commissioners and attested by our chief clerk and chief operating officer. So I'm happy to present this. I don't know who wants this. So, and I don't know if you're doing any photos or anything. I didn't brush my hair, but you know, I see a couple of cameras around. So let's hold this up. So don't block your face though. Okay. And so that's all I really have. I want to thank you so much for all that you do, and keep at it. Keep the young people coming into the process, and just thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
The success of Locomotive 643 would not be possible without our dedicated crew to help keep her alive and well. Please join me in welcoming one of the individuals responsible for her great health, train co-chairman Josh Ozio, to the podium.
Got to take a second here and gather my thoughts on this, because it's a big thing for us here. There was multiple people involved with bringing 643 here. Some are here, some aren't. And when you think about that, she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Bill, can you come up here quick? Bill, you've been here a long time. You've helped all of us younger generation learn about her. We've taught you what we can do. We've taught you what we know. You've taught us what you know, and we're still learning today. So on behalf of the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association and the Williams Grove Railroad and all the younger generations, I'm going to present you with this plaque.
Thank you.
This plaque is dedicated to you for over 65 years of helping the Williams Grove Railroad. I know it's just a plaque to you, and I understand that, but it has a lot of meaning to all of us and our younger generation, as well as you've touched everybody that's here today, and you don't even realize it, because without you, we wouldn't have train days, and it means something, and we want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'm supposed to say something now?
If you'd like to, you go right ahead.
I didn't know I was doing this today, so I didn't prepare anything. But thank you all. Hope you all are having a good day. I must confess, the train show was my bright idea in 2004. Jay Umbrell was president. We had a spring show, we had a fall show, and in the middle of the summer, we had nothing. So I had been going to train shows, and I thought, what the hell? So we started a train show. The first one was in 2005. We got special permission from the owner of Williams Grove Park, came over and had a little sit down with us, and it has grown. I'm very happy how it has grown this year, particularly. Like everything, it has its ups and downs, and oh well. Thank you.
Our next speaker represents an organization that plays a vital role in prompting the Cumberland Valley as a destination to live, work, and visit. The Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation, or CAEDC, works to advance economic development and showcase the many tourism assets that make our region special. Through their efforts, they help drive growth, create jobs, attract visitors, and strengthen our local economy and quality of life. Please join me in welcoming Laura Delaney, Director of Tourism and Marketing from CAEDC, to the podium.
It's a long name, I know. Well, thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Laura Delaney. I am the Director of Tourism and Marketing for CAEDC. That's the nice way to say Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation. Part of our role is to be the Cumberland Valley Visitors Bureau, as Commissioner Eichelberger was saying. So we take that role very seriously, and we're really pleased to be part of a very small part of the event tonight. So thank you for the invitation. I did bring along a little certificate of recognition, but kind of wanted to say a few words before we presented that. So I'm newer to this role, and today is one of my first opportunities to meet all of you. But I didn't need a long time in my role or with this organization to really realize the impact that the association has here in Cumberland County. Of the estimated 25,000 locomotives ever operated by the Pennsylvania Railroad, which I learned is widely recognized as one of the most powerful and greatest railroads in the country, maybe the world. I did a lot of research to make sure that this was accurate and wanted to honor the history here, and I learned a lot. Railroads, exactly one is still active in steam today, and it's right here in Cumberland County. That fact alone tells me everything I need to know about the people that are in this space, that are part of this organization, and what they have given to preserve it. Steam locomotive number 643 was built in Altoona in June of 1901. It worked the rails of the Pennsylvania Railroad. It spent 4 decades in the steel mills of Harrisburg, and then when the mill closed and the locomotive was discovered hidden away inside a building, the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engines Association, the organization that brought her here, restored her, and kept her running for more than 60 years. That's not just preservation, that's devotion. Today we are also marking the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And it seems exactly right that on this occasion, we pause to honor a piece of the industrial history that helped build this country and the volunteers that refused to let it disappear. On behalf of the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation, it's my privilege to present this certificate of recognition to the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association. So we wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been part of this, and thank you for allowing us to be part of it.
Our next recognition is being presented jointly by 2 special guests on behalf of the Pennsylvania Senate. Joanna Cameron is the Communications Director for Senator Greg Rothman. Joanna was instrumental in reigniting communication with the Cumberland County Farmland Preservation Board and supported our efforts to secure approval that may one day allow the completion of the Loop Railroad track along the perimeter of the Locust Point Road property. Senator Dawn Kiefer, who no longer represents our district, is also joining today. Senator Kiefer has been a strong supporter of our organization throughout her years in public service. 5 years ago, she joined us as our state representative for the number 643's 120th birthday celebration and has attended several of our events over the years. Please join me in welcoming Senator Dawn Kiefer and Joanna Cameron to the stage.
Well, good evening, and thank you. I want to thank everybody for inviting me here again. I actually lost Monroe Township when I was in the House my first year, but I always have a special heart for all things Williams Grove, and so I have remained active. A lot of my constituents, like JC, are very active on the board and in the association, and you are the blood and the life of this organization. If not for people like you, right, we wouldn't still have this engine that's running. And mechanical things are something very dear to my heart. My dad was a diesel mechanic, my husband's a mechanic, and there's nothing they can't get running. There's nothing that, is a challenge that they would never accept, and this is yet one of those challenges. And this is what we do in South Central Pennsylvania, right? We can build it, we can fabricate it, we can re-engineer it, we know how to make things run, how to make things work. And I just truly love the heart and soul of this. It's truly my honor to be here, and that Senator Rothman allows me to come and still participate in recognizing all of the work that has been done here over the years and that continues to go on. And you will always have my support in your activities and to continue the success that we have. And we got to get that train track laid and that loop run. Now that we have the property, I look forward to watching you guys continue to prosper. So I have a citation. Would you like to read the citation? So we have a citation that Senator Rothman and I both have gotten from the state Senate. And I'll skip a couple of the whereases, but whereas the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association is celebrating the 125th anniversary of its Pennsylvania Railroad number 643 steam locomotive. And whereas built in 1901, the Pennsylvania Railroad number 643 is a Class B4A 060 switcher type locomotive and was one of the last steam engines of its kind to be built. It was manufactured in Altoona to be used in the railroad as a passenger hauling steam locomotive. In 1917, it was sold to the Central Iron and Steel Company, which is utilized in every day over the course of 40 years. Pennsylvania Railroad number 643 was purchased by the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association in 1961 and has remained as part of the collection since that time. It is lauded as the only Pennsylvania Railroad steam locomotive that is still in operation today. So now, therefore, the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania congratulates Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association upon its richly deserved recognition, extends warmest wishes for future replete with ever-increasing success. So a copy of this document is going to you, and it will go on record in the Pennsylvania Senate as well, just to document this historical occasion. So again, congratulations, and I don't know who would like to set the citation.
Our next speaker has played an important role in preserving and sharing the rich history of our organization. As the second vice president and historian of WGHSEA, he has been closely involved in documenting and supporting the ongoing restoration efforts that help keep our heritage alive. Today, he will provide an update on our beautiful work being done at the Carousel House and share the progress that has been made on this exciting project. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dale Bentz.
I didn't bring any flags. I don't have any plaques. But I do have memories. And back in the 50s, late 50s, I was a kid that just loved to come to Granger's picnic. I lived for that. I was a farm boy, and nothing was like a dream to come to the Grangers. And there was a big building over there, used to be over there, and it was built almost 100 years ago. And we've had the great fortune to have it donated to us, meaning Williams Grove. 3 years ago, it was just a dream. A year ago, it made its voyage, 2-day voyage from over there, and was set over here. That's about as close to a moon landing that this place has ever had. It was quite a moonshot. Things like this take an awful lot of support and planning and more planning and more planning. To date, we've raised over $168,000. I'm sure by the end of this weekend, it'll top over $170,000 that we have gotten in the donations. During the venture of getting it moved over, Kensley Materials from York donated large amounts of stone to get it over the railroad tracks, and then for later stone into the foundations and stuff. Groff Equipment donated equipment, and a lot of people have worked diligently, very, very hard to get it here. For those that weren't here when the day it moved, why, it was quite, you just had to be here. And to see it effortlessly come across the creek and then get to where we thought there was an obstacle, there's no way they're going to get past that electrical box down there. And the guy with a little control box turns the wheels, and it just slowly goes around and creeps around and comes on up. It was just breathtaking to see this all happen, and these guys do it every day. And for us that don't see this every day, it was quite an opportunity. The second day, it made its voyage around the building. And then there was this great idea that we're going to hook a lot of steam engines to it and pull it over to where its resting place was. We have a lot of pictures of that. Chains broke, couldn't quite get it to make it, but it sure was a great photo op. One forever. Carousel coming to Steam Engine Hill. What a tribute, what a venture to it's taken. And now it sits up here in all of its beauty. And most everyone that comes in the gate, you don't have to tell them where it's at. It has become our focal point of this grounds. And it's been a lot of work done this spring. And one of the people that I really, really want to thank is Baron Wagner from Wagner Construction. They have poured all the concrete, the foundation work, the footers, the foundations, the piers. They put all the steel in to put the decking down. They poured the concrete as you see it. And our deal with them, our contract with Mr. Wagner is we pay for the materials, he covers the labor. Our last bill we got had a total of 1,400 hours. That represents about $112,000 of labor. Without those kind of people to support this organization and this Carousel project, and it wouldn't be here. These kind of people come and give their time and their money that we may prosper and for other people to see what we have here. We do have a gem. There's no doubt about it. As CAEDC made a statement a few years ago, this is the best kept secret in Cumberland County. And we're just now sort of emerging as people have come here, like Mr. Eichelberger, like myself, for years have seen this growth spurt that we're enjoying right now is about 10 years long. Things really started to take a hold. And each generation that comes in and each administration comes in keeps on powering and fueling what's going on. Yes, the railroad has been approved by the land preservation. That's a big step. That was a monumental step. It was really when we realized that we were possibly purchasing a farm that was preserved, and I know about preserved farms, I own one. I know the restrictions, and it really burst my bubble when I heard that it was a developed farm, because I knew what our limitations were. But we overcome those limitations. We are now, I think, a pretty good partner, I hope, with the Land Preservation Board. They recognize our goals, and they did not want to step in the way of our goals. As a matter of fact, when we had our meeting and they went to vote, the one gentleman that really put my tail between my legs the first time I was there, he met me, he talked to me, and he was the best supporter of the whole project. And but they all agreed this has to happen, and it did. So we're working on grants. We have a RACB fund grant in Harrisburg that is for 1.5 million. And we're going to be looking into that. One of the other things we're looking into is that Norfolk Southern has to change their rail out in 27. We're hoping to make a deal with Norfolk Southern that they would give us 6,000 feet of rail to finish this project. I think it's very doable. We're very excited about it. It all takes time. So with that, I want to say thank you. Enjoy the carousel. People have been working feverishly on that to get it decorated for this weekend. They've done a fantastic job of the landscaping. We have more work to do. It's not done yet, not by a long shot, but we're getting very, very close. Thank you.
We're going to switch gears just a little bit from our train preservation to conclude the evening. This marks our second year of the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association Scholarship Fund, and this year's scholarships are made possible through a generous donation in memory of Curtis Toman. Curtis was a dedicated 40-year member of the association who devoted countless hours to preserving and supporting the organization he loved. Curtis passed away in January of this year. He volunteered with the Farmers Flea Market for 12 years, helped mow the grounds alongside his family for 5 years, and was well known for his passion for John Deere equipment. For several years, visitors could find Curtis proudly displaying his John Deere D at the showgrounds, and he passed that enthusiasm on to the next generation by introducing his grandchildren to John Deere with a 60 and 70 lawn tractor. Our first scholarship recipient this year has been a member of the association for several years and will be attending college this fall. Throughout her time with the organization, she has volunteered extensively in many areas, including helping with the treasurer count and collect money, entering raffle data into spreadsheets, monitoring the scavenger hunt during Touch-a-Truck, picking up trash around the grounds, assembling informational signs, collecting gate admission during tractor pulls, and much more. Her willingness to step in whenever needed has made a tremendous impact on the association. It is our honor to present the Curtis Toman Memorial Scholarship on behalf of the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association to Madeline Brown, who will be attending Shippensburg University. Madeline was unable to be here tonight. She was given her award at her last general membership meeting. She's already starting college activities and just couldn't make it. Our second scholarship recipient has been a member for 5 years and plans to attend technical school this fall. Many visitors recognize him as one of the drivers of the barrel train during many of our events. He was out there this weekend, but his contributions extend far beyond that role. He has also assisted with entering raffle information into spreadsheets and has consistently volunteered his time to help the association succeed. His dedication, enthusiasm, and commitment to service embody the spirit of the scholarship program. We are proud to present the Curtis Toman Memorial Scholarship on behalf of Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association to Bradley Demnicki, who will be attending Pennsylvania College of Technology. Our third scholarship, this year also marks an exciting milestone for the scholarship program itself. In 2025, the inaugural year of the program, only one applicant was received due to the membership and volunteer hour requirements. This year, however, we received 3 outstanding applications from deserving young members who have each demonstrated an exceptional commitment to the association and its mission. Because of the strength of this year's applicants, the board made the decision to award a third scholarship in recognition of another individual whose dedication and service stood out in every way. Our third scholarship recipient has been part of the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association for nearly his entire life. Over the years, he has devoted countless hours volunteering throughout the organization, including extensive work on the souvenir stand and the Farmers Flea Market. As part of his Eagle Scout project, he designed and created informational display centers that are now being used around the grounds. During our events, many of you may have seen them during the spring show. They're up this weekend with our QR codes and maps for the event. His lifelong dedication to the association makes him exceptionally deserving of this recognition. We are proud to present the $1,000 Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Scholarship to Landon Toman. Landon will be attending Lehigh University in the fall.
On behalf of WGH SEA, thank you for joining us for this evening as we celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Locomotive 643 and the 250th anniversary of America. We extend our sincere appreciation to all of our presenters, participants, volunteers, and supporters whose time, dedication, and hard work made tonight's celebration such a memorable success. As our formal program comes to a close, we invite you to stay and enjoy the entertainment that follows with the Chris Woodward Band. They're going to be playing for about an hour and a half. Thank you.